Most of you watching this video remember the iPod as a pocketable device intended for one task, playing music. However, where did it all begin? Let's take a look at the original iPod from 2001. Development on this began in February 2001 when Toshiba unveiled their compact hard drive but didn't know what to use it for. However, Apple approached Toshiba with the possibility of manufacturing a pocketable MP3 player. At the time, MP3 players were a growing category of consumer electronics that offered many advantages over traditional portable CD players, such as pocketability, lack of concern over skip protection, and the ability to store more tracks on a single device. However, most MP3 players on the market were unintuitive and couldn't hold much music due to their use of flash storage, which was incredibly expensive back then. So in order to make the MP3 players affordable, you couldn't use much storage. Apple then sought to fix the issues of the MP3 players by developing the iPod and hiring Tony Fadell as lead inventor. Steve Jobs desired to make an MP3 player as small as possible by even dropping a prototype into water to prove that it could be smaller via bubbles that emerged inside of the prototype. But this iPod was then announced on October 23rd, 2001 for a price tag of $399 in the US and a 5GB storage capacity. Its notably large storage capacity for 2001 gave this its famous slogan, 1,000 songs in your pocket. On top of the large storage capacity, Apple had also invented the scroll wheel to make this iPod easy to navigate, and contrary to newer iPods, it actually moves. Furthermore, Apple made iTunes the default software for syncing iPods. However, the iTunes Store didn't exist until 2003, so you still had to purchase CDs to import to your computer and then sync to your iPod. Also contrary to newer iPods, this generation requires a FireWire cable for syncing and charging, which is really only common with digital cameras and Macs. Because iTunes was exclusive to macOS until 2002, one must have had a Mac in order to use this iPod. Nonetheless, the original iPod released on November 10th, 2001 of moderate success. And a 10GB variant of this iPod was released on March 20th, 2002 for $500. This iPod also debuted with other features besides playing music because it includes a calendar, clock, address book, and a game. These features can be accessed in the extras section of the iPod menu. For obvious reasons, this iPod is very crucial to the history of Apple because not only did it start a very successful product line, but it was also Apple's first pocketable device. There's no doubt that without this iPod, your smartphone wouldn't exist today. Because of the importance of this iPod, though, acquiring one is quite lavish. The average price for a used and functional first-generation iPod is $200, which may seem absurd, but isn't when you consider that this was released when Apple was still recovering from nearing bankruptcy. So it's never sold as well as future iPods to begin with, especially because this is Mac only. Common misconception regarding the first-generation iPod is that these only work with Macs, which is luckily no longer the case in 2024 because these did eventually receive support for Windows. Furthermore, these iPods still sync with modern Macs and PCs with the correct dongles, which is crazy to consider. But did you ever own a first-generation iPod, or do you own one now? Please comment that down below. As always, thank you all for watching this video. I'm the iTunes family, and peace out.